Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. And this watch is an all-time great, launched in 1993. This is the original IWC pilot's watch Doppelchrono, the Doppelchronograph, 3711-03 monoblock case in stainless steel with the Richard Hobring split-second chronograph system. This is one of the debut platforms for the IWC Hobring system that made split-second watches something that could be everyday usable and everyday practical, as well as accessible to a much broader audience. This is an historic watch. So part of the long-running IWC Pilots line, you can see that it's no nonsense in terms of its style. 42 millimeters in diameter in steel, 16.7 millimeters thick. You can see the original fish crown from lug tip to lug tip, 51.3 millimeters, and then the space between the lugs, nice modern 21 millimeters. You can see one of the hallmarks of this early Doppelchrono, a very vaulted and domed sapphire. That would go away in later generations. Throwing it on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference. We'll zoom out a little bit. You can see it's a big watch. It was huge by 90 standards. For a watch that was made from about 93 to 95, it was probably a giant, comparable in wrist presence to a Panerai Luminor or a early Royal Oak offshore from Audemars Piguet. The thing was definitely instrument style in the sense that a bigger watch is easier to see and thus more practical. I would recommend it for a wrist of my size or larger, but certainly no smaller. My wrist is 16 centimeters in circumference, and I think we're maxed out here. The strap is IWC, a factory piece. You can see calfskin on the bottom. It's an IWC factory strap in excellent condition. An unusual small rectangular scale cut of the alligator, something we do not often see. Almost has the look of a designer handbag. It's attractive and kind of cool. It's very offbeat. And being gator, it's upscale for a pilot's watch where you normally get calfskin. There's a little bit of bolstering to give it some thickness. And you can see the sides have been shear cut and lacquered for refinement with a monotone stitch. We have a simple IWC pin buckle. You can see polish. Looks like Boussole d'Or was the supplier for that piece. You see their little B. And rolling back to the case, I called this monoblock earlier, and what I mean by that is that everything loads through the screw-down case back. If you take a look, there isn't actually a seam between the bezel and the case. Everything up top, the case flank, the lugs, the bezel, it's all one piece, and it's been machined from the solid. So there being no seam, it's a very clean look, and also augurs well for the water resistance of the watch. Now, there are a couple of polished highlights here, though not many. You can see the crowns are polished. We have this polished bevel on each of the lugs, and then you can see that there is a polished facet to the bezel itself, and you can see that better in profile. We have a satination that runs circularly across the case top and around the tops of the lugs, and then it's longitudinally satinated or brushed from end to end. A very blended form follows function style of lug into case and then back. We have a screw-down crown with the IWC Fish. This is the pre-Probus crown, and it is a 60-meter water-resistant watch with a screw-down crown. That would have made it fine for surface swimming back in the day, but given the age of this good old girl, I probably wouldn't take her swimming. Now, we do have the split-second functionality, and I have to say, for something based fundamentally on cam function selectors, it's really, really crisp. But then you might expect that because IWC did an enormous amount of work to the 7750 caliber on which this movement is based. The dial, genuine tritium patina. Now, hands are a service replacement item on watches over the years. You can't repress them infinitely. Eventually, they do get replaced, and you can see that's almost always the case with chronograph seconds hands because of the violence of the reset. So this watch has tritium, dial, and luminova hands, and I'll demonstrate that now. You can see the dial is dead as a doornail, but the hands are luminova. And we've got a matte black base and an instrument-style dial with no-nonsense white-on-black printing. You can see Doppelchronograph automatic. It lives up to its billing. Screw out the crown out. By the way, it feels very secure when withdrawn. Just a really nice stem tube assembly. And in this first position, I can wind the watch. It's also an automatic winder. Pull the crown out all the way. Activate the hacking seconds. And I will demonstrate the double quickset mechanism. You've got the date. You've got the day. Okay, a little bit about the Doppelchrono now. This is often mistakenly described as the IWC caliber 79230. I believe in its earlier iteration on the original Doppelchrono, which this is, it was called the 79030. So automatic winding with unidirectional winding, just like 7750 will be, 44-hour power reserve, 4 hertz beat rate, stop seconds, double quick set, 29 joules because it has been jouled up to include the split second functionality. It's a 30 millimeter movement that nicely fills this case back, and we do have a soft paramagnetic material as a cage around the movement to protect from magnetism. Der Doppelchronograph, it is the double chronograph. So the ability to split seconds and gauge the waxing or waning gap between two timed intervals, such as cars around a racetrack or runners around a course. This used to be, if you think about something like the Patek Philippe 1436, an incredibly expensive, scratch-built, bespoke, on-request type complication offered only on the most elite watches from the most exclusive manufacturers. Richard Habring, who today with his wife Maria runs Habring out of Austria, he came up with the idea to essentially add another layer to the 7750 that would give it a split-second functionality, and that's exactly what he did right here. It is durable in a way no previous split-second chronograph was. It's based on a tank-tough 7750, and the split mechanism is as tough as the remainder of the movement. You can see one of the features germane to the 7750 architecture, the instantaneous jumping minute, which is always a lot of fun. Now, it is a combination of a cam function cycler and an oscillating pinion clutch, because it is a 7750 base. So the OP, the oscillating pinion, is a type of lateral clutch with very little play, because the driving pinion against the driven wheel has exceptionally little dead angle to it. So when you start this, it's almost as smooth as a vertical clutch, and that's just a feature that is common to 7750 architectures. It's the oscillating pinion. And then we've got the secondary, which I have to say feels even lighter and crisper than the primary actuation, and it's a real pleasure to operate this watch. Now, it has quite a few modifications in addition to the Habring double chronograph system. IWC at the time, in the early to mid-90s, was still known for basically taking the ETA knockdown kits and finishing them and adjusting them, replacing the drivetrain, the barrel, the power source. They did a lot of work on these movements apart from adding the complication. And so this is based on a 7750, but you really need to think about the work going into it. Kari Voutilainen for many years worked with a Bausch, and no one would ever doubt the quality of the finished product. And that's exactly what IWC did during its heyday of complicated watchmaking with watches like the Doppelchrono, Il Destriero Scafusia, and the Grand Complication back in the 90s. This was a landmark watch for the company and for the industry, and the quality of the watchmaking inside is second to none. So if you love this watch, it is an historic piece. Reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.